You probably thought that the mainstream media couldn't blame the Manosphere for anything else, right? Yeah. There are individuals out there that the mainstream media feels is the main representation of the Manosphere. You have Pearl Davis out there, of course. She rose to fame rather quickly. You have Andrew Tate, which he's going through his legal troubles now, but people look at him as the face of the Manosphere, I guess. And also you have Myron Gaines, which he is, of course, hated. He has the book out, Why Women Deserve Less. And the mainstream media doesn't like him either. And he's made himself very popular and a very contentious person in the media. Well, now we have the Diddy case. And a lot of the female individuals are testifying and they're revealing things that they did with this man, Diddy. And we have our opinions about it, right? In general, the public in general has their own opinion about what's going on with the Diddy trial and the people that are a part of it. Well, we have our opinion about it too, the RP or the Manosphere, however you want to call it. And The Guardian has done a piece about it. As you can see here, the Manosphere seizes on the Diddy trial to undermine alleged victims.
Enemy spotted.
My friends, this is a sickness of the highest order.
I don't see no crimes committed, quote unquote. Commentators on black masculinity are popular pundits on Sean Combs' case, but they've taken a clear side. Yes, we have. And before we get into it, my take personally, a lot of these women or people that's testifying, right? They were victims, and then they were volunteers, and then maybe they were victims again, depending on what part of the relationship they were in. Did they get manipulated? Yes. Did they get taken advantage of? Yes. Might have they been abused? Also, yes. But two things can be true at the same time. Did they take the money? Yes. Did they have their apartment paid for? Yes. Did they get to go on lavish trips and be spoiled and get all the affection and love that they want from Diddy when he was in a certain mind state and not, on the substances? Also, yes. Okay? So let's read this article and see what they have to say about the Manosphere and what they're blaming us for with this Diddy trial now. When the trial of Sean Diddy Combs began last month, there was one man who stood apart from the journalists, legal eagles, and YouTube gossip querying up for seats inside the New York courtroom. Myron Gaines, co-host of the Fresh and Fit podcast and author of the 2023 book, Why Women Deserve Less. In the past 5 years, he has become infamous for his incendiary takes on masculinity, dating, and the perceived challenges that men face in contemporary society. Now, we understand, people that watch this channel and others understand what men's struggles are in our society today. We don't need to go over those. We know who Myron Gaines is. He's part of Fresh and Fit podcast, millions of subscribers and followers over several platforms. He needs no introduction, all right? Combs was a natural person of interest for Gaines, as well as his peers who focus on black masculinity and traffic in many of the same misogynistic tropes that have been present in hip hop from its early days. So now we're bringing hip hop in here too. Let's go. For decades, the New Yorker was an alpha male fantasy come to life, a self-made captain of industry and a paragon of black excellence who helps mainstream hip hop music while juggling a roster of Palmers that include bad boy artist Cassie Ventura. Okay. So now he's talking about Diddy. Okay, yes, alpha male, black excellence, in which I like to focus on the black excellence part because he got the key to the city. He was talking about how he was going to make his own party. He was talking about how he was going to hold the black vote during the election time a few years ago and all this stuff. Of course, he had his own liquor. I believe it was, what was it? I forgot the name of it, but he had his own liquor recently, and he was also the main brand ambassador for Ciroc. Of course, we all know that, right? And hip hop artist, entrepreneur, producer, yada, yada, right? We get all that. According to Gaines 35, the Diddy trial is the biggest hip hop case of all time. Well, yes, it is. Bigger than Epstein, he declared after the first few days of testimony, adding, honestly, it's bigger than 47's. And with no TV cameras in the courtroom, his sliver of the Manosphere has become a crucial information source for his loyal audience of young men and also casual trial observers who might stumble into such content through algorithmic forces. Well, there are a lot of people that follow him. He has his own channel where he does, court breakdowns and things of that nature. Also, along with the Fresh and Fit, he has Myron Gaines X, where he talks about things of that nature. He does it on YouTube and on X platform. And yes, he talks about cases because he has a legal background. He used to be, he said, an agent. I don't know if it was for the FBI or one of those three-letter organizations. But in any case, he has a legal background, so he has a little bit of experience in talking about these kind of things, which is cool. And people want to hear the breakdown. But it isn't just Myron. A lot of people feel how they feel about this case. If you listen to these women's, if you read these women's testimony, which I have pretty much every day, they, like I said, and another person that we're going to talk about here in a minute said this all the time. There's no victims, only volunteers. These women were both. Yes, they got manipulated into these things, but there were times along the way during their relationships with Diddy where they could have got off the ride and they chose not to. And now they're in court testifying against him. One lady, Diddy is still paying her rent currently today for her apartment in Florida. And he's also paying her legal fees because she has some legal issues, I believe, with one of her production or promotion companies or something like that. So he's still financially supporting her while she's testifying against him in court. I mean, you can't make this up.
Bitch, ain't no way.
You see what I'm saying?
Ain't no fucking way.
So, yeah, this crosses over into our lane because, you're testifying against this guy and he's still propping you up financially. I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So let us scroll down here and get to the next individual that these, let me read this and then we'll get to the next one. If you've made it this far in the video and you're still here, thank you again for your viewership. And if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell that way you can be notified whenever I go live or drop new content. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, please do so by hitting the Cash App $sign Mr. Normie. And you can also go to my Ko-Fi page, ko-fi.com/workingmanmg. Also, I'm trying to build a community on Locals. So if you would, go please check out my Locals page and you can join for just $5 a month. You can post and we can build a community of like-minded working men over there. Thank you for your time. Now back to the video. It says, since Combs' arrest last September on federal criminal charges for racketeering and trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution, these podcasters and YouTubers, I guess they're talking about me too, have been notably more sympathetic to him than the witnesses call for the prosecution. The allegations is about Combs' behavior are horrific and include shocking revelations about his use, indulges, and hair trigger temper. But you wouldn't know that from following the trial coverage from these faithful evangelists of toxic masculinity.
Enemy spotted.
Ventura especially is an object of their derision, and their assessment of her testimony is withering. In their view, Combs is not a man with incredible power and influence who abused and mistreated those in his circle, but the target of a Me Too style witch hunt orchestrated by Ventura. Now, the only thing with Cassie, I would say is, well, did some bad things happen to her? We saw a video, right? That's no way to, I guess, do something to a woman unprovoked, right? But at the same time, even after this, we all know what happened with her and her husband, the back and forth, the thing with Kid Cudi and all of that, right? So in the midst of all of this, this video comes out, but before and after that, did she go anywhere? No, she's still engaged in these parties, this degradation, this debauchery. She took the money, all that. All 3, 4, whoever many defendants in this case, there were people testifying against Diddy. They were all, in my opinion, victims and volunteers, both. It just depends on where they were in their relationship. All right. Here we go. YouTuber Greg Adams.
What's going on, everybody? It is Coach Greg Adams back in here with another YouTube live stream.
Better known as Coach Greg Adams, CGA. YouTuber Greg Adams, who discourages black men from settling into committed relationships, and you all know why, pushed back against the prosecution's attempts to characterize Ventura as a naif on his channel, The Free Agent Lifestyle. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Give him his flowers real quick. Shout out to CGA. There's no accountability on her part, he said. Everything is, my brain still ain't developed. He slipped me a drug. He tricked me when it should have been I was 21. Diddy was damn near billionaire, and I was upgrading. Yes, he was upgrading with that money. Now, we all know the joke that has been coined by him, right? And my brainstem isn't fully developed. That's the thing that they like to say when women are going through things that somehow they're out of their minds, so they weren't in the right mind to make decisions at the time, all that kind of funny stuff, right? But again, is she a victim or a volunteer? You out there can make that that delineation or whatever that, what side you're on. But all these women, like the one they were cross-examining today or yesterday, they asked her, well, did you do some of these things willingly? Yes. Did he give you a choice? Yes. Is he still paying for this? Yes. Did he give you money during this? Yes. Ventura got a $20 million lawsuit. I mean, so Diddy paid essentially for all these women at different times, or all the times, because also the prosecution asked this woman, or one of the women, did you know he led a polyamorous lifestyle? She said yes. But what happened was she was seeing Diddy out with other women. And of course, the slippery slope with these type of relationships, this woman felt like she wasn't getting the same affection or same love that the other ones were getting. And this is where the breakdown begins. And now they're all testifying against him because they're all scorned women, even though they were getting paid at the same time that they had ire against this man because it just wasn't enough. He was taking care of you on one side, but you wanted to be the main on the other side. You didn't get that. So we forget about all the good stuff he did for you, right? And so that's basically what I'm talking about. And then lastly, rapper Cameron, self-styled sports commentator, interviewed one of the male escorts, the Punisher, who testified participating in Diddy's freak-offs for an explicit recap of his sexual experiences with Ventura. Of course, DJ Academics, he's not no RP, but as other people will say, he's RP adjacent, right? The hip-hop taskmaster, always playing devil's advocate, has called the allegations against Combs BS and says that the crimes that he accused of committing hardly warranted life sentences he could receive if found guilty. Yes. And my correction on the Myron Gaines that he was working for Homeland Security. It says here in his last few paragraphs. But y'all get the point, right? I've heard this from other people that's talking about this case, and they all say the same thing. Diddy led a polyamorous lifestyle. He was paying for these women, all right? And then at some point, these women got upset because they felt like they weren't getting something that the other one was getting. And so Diddy is trying to juggle all these women at one point or another while financially supporting them at the same time. And at one point, all of them jumps off and back on the ride, depending on what's going on in their life, whether they need money, they need help with one of their businesses or something like that. Because also the last one, I think the woman that's getting interviewed now, she said that Diddy gave her $20,000 to start a business that she's running right now.
Bitch, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way.
So, y'all get it. Another thing they blame the Manosphere for trying to, I guess, change the narrative about the case and about the victims in this case. But again, are they victims or volunteers? I would say they're both, depending on where the relationship was, or as CJ would say, aka the spectrum, right? Or a sort of relationship spectrum, where over here they're kind of a victim, maybe because they got, maybe got finessed into having sex with more than one guy, which is, illegal, right? To a certain degree, or not to a certain degree, it is illegal. But then as they started reaping the benefits of these acts, well, they kept going. And so victim, volunteer, victim, just depends on where they were. And so you're a victim, but then if you choose not to jump off the ride, then you turn to a volunteer. You feel me? That's where I'm at with it. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Another thing to blame the Manosphere for. And as with that being said, thank you for attending another episode of the Working Man Podcast. I am your host, Nicholas J. Fury. Let me know what you think about this hit piece on the Manosphere yet again, blaming us for the changing the narrative in the Diddy case, when really a lot of people, a lot of men in particular, and women actually, that I've seen on social media and YouTube, if you ask them, they'll say the same thing we're saying. But of course, you gotta blame somebody when the believe all women trope doesn't work, right? So we're here. We take the arrows. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section. And please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell. We're out of the door. And remember what Combs is finding out right now. Reality checks are free. See you next time.